Alright, gonna do a quick little guide here on a few of the basics for playing in the RP server here, guys. I know some of you guys probably have a lot of questions on how you do some of the interactions, on just how some of the basic things work in trying to do the RP. So I just want to point out here how you do some of the stuff here. First of all, let's start off here. So you can see my cops standing here having a cup of coffee. It's going to be one of the commands that you can do, and basically the way you're going to access that is you would hit the M key, and then that's going to bring up this option, this menu. Now through this menu you're pretty much going to be able to do anything on the server. If people decide to abuse this menu, I will have to limit the access to this, but I would like to keep this open so that everybody's going to be able to take full advantage of this to be able to enhance the role-playing aspect of everything. So let me just start off here. You're going to go into player options. We'll start with that first. You'll go into player options, and now you can see in here, and yes, there are people playing on the server right now while I do this, so you might hear random comments. But right here at the bottom, this is where you would start at the top. You're not going to be able to use any of these things, okay? You can't use God mode, invisibility, you know, any of these things. I don't want anybody using these because these are all designed to be, you know, to keep it with the role-playing aspect. So if it's found that you're using God mode, somebody, you know, shoots you or hits you with your car and you don't die, it's going to be pretty obvious, and I'm going to give you a warning, and then if it happens again, you're going to be banned from the server. That's going to be pretty straightforward with how things go. I'm going to give everybody one warning, and if you repeat these problems, I'm just going to ban you, just because honestly I don't have time to be policing everybody all the time with things that they should already know about. So enough with that. Let's go all the way down here. This is where I wanted to show you guys what I was talking about before. Down here you can see these are the different scenarios that you're gonna have. So you can smoke a cigarette, use binoculars, you know, all of these different things. Cop idle, there's a drug dealer. So depending on what you are actually playing in the game, you might want to take advantage of some of these scenarios that you can have your character act out while he's, you know, standing there or doing something. You can see there's a bunch of different varieties here. This menu has pretty much all of them. There is another menu that I'm going to show you guys that has a few of the basics, but you can see we have a really nice amount in here that you can select through. And if I go through here, you can see there's like police crowd control, police investigation, so I can just hit that. My police officer will, I guess, act like he's working on an investigation. He's investigating the ground right now. But then if you want to stop that, guys, you have to go right here to force stop scenario. Just hit enter, that'll stop that. So that's how you're going to be doing those. Like I said, I don't want anybody accessing any of these other things like God mode, invisibility, you know, any of the things like that. It's not realistic, so it doesn't go along with RP. That is the most important thing that I got to point out to everybody in here. If you are not playing this out like it's real life, like you are that character, then you're not doing RP correctly and you're failing at it. Okay, the next thing we're going to go into here, if you do have your vehicle, I believe I have this sheriff SUV because I'm a deputy sheriff. So I want to have the correct vehicle that corresponds with my job, obviously, and unless I'm off duty, and then I have my own personal vehicle. But I'm going to go into options here, and you can see, just to start off, guys, let me take you back up to the top. Okay, so vehicle God mode, no, you're not allowed to use that. No God modes. You can repair your vehicle from time to time, unless there are mechanics on duty and you want to go ahead and take advantage of having a mechanic that can actually work on your vehicle for you and repair it. You know, goes along with the RP element. Looks a little bit better if you can actually do it that way. But in here, you can see you can turn the engine on and off. Also, the speed limiter. This is pretty important if you want to be able to do the RP element a little easier, we'll say, when you're driving around. So you don't have to constantly be tapping W and slowing down. You can just set a max speed. You can either go to set, okay, and I'll show you guys how this is going to work here really quick. I'm going to drive my vehicle. Okay, so I'm doing 16 miles an hour, 15 there. I just set it was actually set at 13 because it was dropping down. You can see the notification on the left side. It says vehicle speed is now limited to 13.7 miles an hour, so it'll probably be like 14. And I can close this menu now, but I'm just going to keep this open just to show you guys the different ways that you can access the speed limiter. Remember, part of the RP element is not just running red lights and things like that, unless you expect to be stopped by the police, but you shouldn't just be going around running red lights all the time, especially if you are the police. But you can see now my vehicle is limited to 14 miles an hour. I can just hold down W. I don't have to worry about my speed increasing up to 120 miles an hour or anything like that. The other way that this option will work is to go through and then hit the custom speed limiter, and it's going to ask you, I would just go with what it offers there, that 20 actually equals out to be 44 miles an hour. So that's typically going to be the speed that you're going to be driving around. 45 miles an hour is probably a good speed to go with. So if you want to use the custom and already use one that's set up, that will be available for you. I wouldn't recommend setting the license plate or anything like that, because then when we run your tags, it's probably going to come back as a stolen vehicle. There is the mod menu. You guys don't be using the mod menu. Go to the mod shop and actually mod your vehicle there. Okay, don't use the mods in here. Go to the place and actually do that. Don't get into any of these options, guys. If I find out anyone is modding their vehicle through these menus, I'm gonna just go ahead and let you take a guess. What do you think's gonna happen? I'm gonna ban you from the server, because I've already told everybody not to go in here and use any of these things. Okay, if you want to make it so you don't have a bike helmet, that's fine. But some of these other things are definitely no-goes, guys, because I'm telling you, it's a role-playing server. It's not going to go along with the role-play. So, I just want to point that out to everybody, not to be going in there and doing those options. There's a vehicle spawner. The only way you're going to use this vehicle spawner, guys, is if you have a specific job and they don't offer the vehicle for your job. So if you're a bank driver and you can't get the bank vehicle at the bank because it's glitched out for some reason, you can go in here and you can try to spawn, an armored car or whatever, so you can do your job. If you're a tow truck driver, you can spawn your tow truck. But I don't want anybody spawning tanks or anything like that. If I see a tank, instantly you're banned from the server. I'm not even going to ask you or question you about it. You can be like, oh, I saw it sitting there and I got in it, or I accidentally spawned it. Honestly, guys, like I said before, I'm trying to be a little strict on this just because so many people try to take advantage of, an adult situation where we're all supposed to be policing ourselves. So if you go around spawning vehicles that you should not be in, you're going to be removed from the server. Point blank, okay? The other thing I want to say is, if you have a vehicle and you like it, it's your vehicle, you can go into save vehicles and then right here at the top, save current vehicle. So you can see in here under muscle, you can see that's highlighted. I have my Firebird in there. And it's actually called the Ruiner, but you can name your vehicles, and then that way you can go back and access the vehicles that you have saved. You can also, when you're in your vehicle, you're going to go to personal vehicle, okay, and the first option right there says set vehicle. Current vehicle, none. So I'm going to hit enter, and now it's the sheriff SUV, which is set to my personal vehicle, okay, and you can see you have different options here for your vehicle. You don't want to do exclusive driver. It's not realistic unless you're going to be like, oh, I have the keys with me or something along those lines. But the way it's going to work is, if you're getting out of your vehicle, you're going to see I have a notification up there because of my personal vehicle. Double tap E. Excuse me there, sir. Double tap E, and look at that guy looking at me. Looking like I'm crazy or something. You double tap E and that unlocks your car. Just tap E again and your vehicle is unlocked. And now I don't have to worry about someone stealing my car. Obviously, they can still bust out the window, but they're not going to be able to just grab the door and jump in. So that's another thing that you want to make sure you set that. You can do right here, MP PED customization. When you join the server, they're probably going to give you a basic person. They may give you a random character, but if you want to create your own character, which I would definitely recommend, and you can create multiple characters and save them and then select them, which definitely goes along with the RP element of depending on what role or job you want to be doing that day. You might want to have a different character for it, especially if it's one of the illegal jobs that doesn't just come with the skin. So you would go into this customization. You can create your character right here. I'm just going to run through this really quick. Create character. Oh, I probably should step out of the vehicle, actually. There we go. Okay, so now I can go here and you can select your character, give them different faces, things like that. If you want to be a female, I believe you can switch it to being a female somewhere through that menu there. Character appearance, you can go through, change the hairstyles, the hair colors, you know, give blemishes. I mean, it's pretty detailed here. You can make your character look old if you want to. Just make sure you change the opacy? No, I'm not saying that right, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I just woke up. Anyways, going through, you can change, like I said, all these different things so that you can customize your character however you would like to. There's going to be a bunch of different things. You can add tattoos. There's going to be clothes options. And just keep in mind, when you look at this, you can see upper body, okay? This is confusing to some people, and I can totally understand why. It took me a little bit to figure this out myself. But as you're cycling through, you're like, oh my god, his torso and arms just disappeared. Okay, well, yes, this isn't... this skin right here is just to give you the gloves that are actually on his hands. And then as long as you're wearing a long-sleeve t-shirt, you would never notice that he doesn't actually have a body. So, right there, obviously, I'd have a t-shirt on for this one, and I'd be able to have the gloves on. So, depending on how you want to have your character configured, you're going to have to cycle through all 168 choices there. And then from there, you can go ahead and change the lower body, your pants, to different degrees. And you can also hit enter to get different skins for the same pants. Or shirt, or, you know, what have you. There's bags, accessories, shoes, scarves, chains, shirts, accessories. And see, right there you can see, now it looks like my body isn't really missing, although from the side angle it probably would, so I'd have to keep going with something that would probably look like that. That's a pretty interesting looking guy right there. You can add body armor if you are a police officer. I mean, other than that, you're not going to want to touch that unless you're a bank robber maybe, and that's part of your get-go. There are logos, so I can be like, hi, my name's Peter. Jackets, you can put different jackets on your character. There's a lot of customization here as far as trying to set up your own, you know, in-game character. Really try to make him, you know, your own. So then, after you do that, you can go through props. You can save your character. It's going to ask you, we'll just call this guy Madman. You can save your character, and then you can go into saved characters. You can see in here, then you're going to have your different characters that you have saved out. So I have Trash Man and spawn saved character. I'm going to hit enter, and now I am my trash worker. Okay. Now, if you want to stay with this guy, you're going to want to set as default characters so that, you know, every time I respawn, this is going to be the guy that I actually am. And I will be him every time I respawn. Unless I am in a police role, then I'll spawn as him, and then it'll switch me back to my police role. Okay, so just to go through that really quick, that's how you do the save characters. The weapon loadouts, guys. I don't want to see people just pulling rocket launchers out of your pockets. You can do these weapons, you know what I mean? I'm letting these things in the game, so if you want to have it as part of your roleplay, that's fine. But you're going to have to come back here and actually open the trunk to your vehicle and pull the, you know, a big, large weapon like that out. If you want to have a pistol, you can pull a pistol out, sure. Everybody can conceal a pistol on them, no problem. But I don't see you concealing, you know, a minigun or a rocket launcher, grenade launcher, things like this on your character. You can pull a grenade out of your pocket, sure, but don't pull 20 grenades or, you know, a bunch of Molotovs or things like this out where it's not realistic. That's the whole key to RP. Making it so that you're really building this, how should I say it, this experience or this element, or atmosphere, that's what I want to say. You're really building this atmosphere where it seems like these are real people interacting with each other, you know what I mean? That's one of the crucial parts with just being able to have the person's mouth move while they're speaking in the game, like I am right now. It just helps add to that element. Okay, what else should I go through here with you guys? Oh, number one thing, probably the first thing I should have actually went over in this guide, because some of you guys are going to skip around and might miss this, but I really want to point out and stress that when you join the server, you have to have your voice chat settings. So you have to go in here and set this to enabled, okay? And you also want to set the voice chat proximity to 15 meters. You should be on channel 1, which is default, but 15 meters for your proximity voice chat. This is crucial so that you can only talk to people within 15 meters of your character, which adds to the realism. Now, that is for talking in the game to other players. If you're in the Discord channel, you want to make sure you're in the appropriate channel. If you're a drug dealer, you'd be in that channel. If you're a civilian, you want to be in that channel. If you're a police officer, you want to be in that channel. The other people that'll be in the police will be EMS, fire possibly, and the flatbed driver. That way they can all communicate with each other and work things out. Otherwise, you all want to be in your own channels, and then when you interact with each other in the real world, in the game, and you're within 15 meters, you want to use the in-game voice chat so it appears that you're actually speaking to these people. And then if I'm a police officer and I'm going to communicate with another police officer, I'll use Discord, and that would be like me using a walkie-talkie to talk one-on-one with that person, okay? So I just want to point out the that detail right there, okay? That's very, very crucial to make sure you guys get that set up. And then I also believe in miscellaneous, there's a few things. You can change this to miles per hour if you prefer to see miles per hour. Some of these other things, like I said, I don't want you guys touching some of this stuff just to keep it the realism and so that you're not ruining things. Now, you can change it to respawn as default MP character so that that's selected. You can change the radar and the HUD if you want to make your screen look a little bit more realistic. Things like that are acceptable, but anything that's going to go outside the role-playing element will not be acceptable, guys. I really want to stress that because it seems like it's been a little confusing to some people. And I don't want anybody saying, oh, I didn't know. I'm making sure to inform everybody about this stuff. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk or anything like that, but it's like you're ruining the experience for everybody else in here when you don't do that. Because I get messages constantly from people saying, hey, somebody just killed me and they never even said anything or role played with it or, you know, things like that. I don't want to be getting these messages, guys. Please, let's all just have some fun on here and have a good time and try to enjoy ourselves. Okay, so other than those things, I believe I've covered some of the basics here that I wanted to share with you guys, just so you guys are all aware of that. The last thing I'll leave off with is if you're like, oh, how do you do the voice settings? You do need to come into your voice chat. You need to make sure that it is turned on. This is going to be your speakers or your headset. Definitely recommend using a headset so you don't give an echo. These settings right here will also probably be down like that, so it won't look like it's actually filled in. You got to make sure you raise these things up so that you can hear. This is going to be how you communicate. This is your microphone. You can see I'm using my Logitech headset to talk, and I have it set to push to talk, which is also crucial because we don't want to hear anything in the background like dogs barking or your mom yelling at you, whatever. Microphone settings, you have to have these set up as well. Sensitivity won't matter since you are using push to talk. The other way to use the push to talk is go to key bindings. You're going to enter into here, go down to GTA Online, and right here is going to be your push to talk key. I have mine set up to mouse 5, my Discord is mouse 4, and then I can speak in game just using my mouse, or you can use the keyboard setting as well. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much going to be it here. I'm going to have this trash guy go out and get to work, and I will catch you guys hopefully on the server having a good time. Alright guys, take it easy. Later.